Focus more on that daring rescue at the heart of this story. We can talk with CAL FIRE San Mateo Santa Cruz Unit Battalion Chief Brian Pottenger, who was at the scene. Thank you so much for joining us. First of all, tell us about this area that's known as Devil's Slide, where the crash occurred. Just how dangerous is it there?
Yeah, the Devil's Slide area is just south of the Tom Landry Tunnel, the city of Pacifica, dropping down into the area of Half Moon Bay. It's a beautiful area of California. It's a very scenic stretch of road, but it's very narrow with cliffs that drop off on one side and they drop straight down to the ocean. And in areas, some it's 50 feet and some it's 200 to 300 feet, like we experienced yesterday.
We just heard in that piece there from our colleague Gabe about how you had to rappel down the cliff to get down there. Walk us through how you made a plan to access the car. Is it something your team prepares for, and just how difficult of a rescue it was?
Yeah, we prepared quite a bit for this. We run calls like this quite often, so we have our fire personnel are very, very adept in low-angle rope rescue. So we prepared to rappel down to the vehicle. Our guys went to work right away. This particular spot is pretty high, so we were using 300-foot rope lines, and we just about maxed those out. So this was a very technical rescue, but our guys did a great job and accessed the vehicle and the victims in a really quickly manner.
There were a lot of challenges with this one besides the obvious. You had a storm approaching. Also, you were trying to reach them before a high tide. We've heard that, thank goodness it was low tide. If it had been high tide, could have been a different story. How did your team navigate all of these challenges to try and successfully rescue them?
Well, like I said, we train in this area and we've run many calls in this area, and we all work together quite well. There were some challenges, and you're right about the tide. The tide was going out at that time, which helped us quite a bit. We've had some fairly high tides in the area lately. The area that this occurred was a very steep area, so that was our biggest challenge, was to get the right access point without damaging our equipment and without injuring our personnel, and to make sure that when we brought people up, we could do it in a safe manner without damaging any of the patients.
We only have about 30 seconds here, but I do just quickly want to ask, since we heard you say that you were shocked to find survivors, what was that moment like when you did realize they were still alive there?
It was very shocking. We did not expect that, and it really turned my mind into a different avenue, that this is not a recovery, this is an active rescue, and it had me changing my rescue tactics and making some very quick decisions on how we were going to rescue these individuals and get them to safety.
We're grateful that you and your team did just that. Brian Pottenger, thanks so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.